So we move right away to our next speaker. It's pretty nice actually to meet Suzanne in this session.
Hello.
Hello, Suzanne. How are you?
How are you?
Hello. How are you, all of you? Nice to meet everybody after 2 years.
Yeah.
So I hope it will be better next year.
Yeah, Suzanne will be talking about the sky as a witness.
Yes.
Yeah, the floor is yours. So you have like 20 minutes, 15 minutes presentation and 5 minutes for questions.
OK.
Go ahead, Suzanne.
Yes, we connect. Alors, vas-y, connecte. Tu sais faire?
Connecté, là.
Et tu veux l'écran partagé.
L'écran partagé.
Mais tu n'as pas lancé le PowerPoint.
Si. Ah, punaise.
Sorry, a minute.
L'autre, c'est partagé.
Alors, tu remets le PowerPoint.
Attends, attends, zoom.
Alors, il faut que tu relances le PowerPoint.
Je l'avais tout à l'heure. Ah,
et tu l'as plus, là. Tu l'as plus. Tu as fermé le PowerPoint quelque part.
Ouais. Tac.
Tu prends le PowerPoint.
Là.
Alors, je te laisse t'asseoir à ma place. Alors, tourne-le vers toi. Voilà.
Ah, pourquoi c'est possible?
Voilà, il faut reprendre le PowerPoint. C'est celui-là, la commune plus champ. Voilà.
Voilà. Alors,
tu descends et tu fais.
Yes,
we are a few minutes to get it. Alors, mais je ne sais pas, il faut que tu reprennes Zoom maintenant.
Voilà.
Zoom,
non, on le voit, tu le mets en plein écran. Juste, tu le mets en plein écran.
Voilà, hop. Tout. Tu prends celui-là. Voilà, tu fais partager. Là.
Partager.
Voilà.
Voilà, c'est bon.
Diaporama. Tu fais diaporama.
Voilà.
À partir du début.
It's okay?
Is it okay now?
Très bien. Vas-y.
Okay.
Great.
So, since 2 years with COVID, we couldn't have many students, but we decided to have a big project that was about Paris Commune, because it was a short revolution that lasted 2 months only, but was very strong for people, French people and some others in the world. And it was exactly this year, 150 years ago. So we tried to explain that, especially in our suburbs, where people come from many parts of the world and can wonder what it is, such so short a revolution. So we decided to have a role play game using the sky as a witness. So in 1871, there were in France 2 months of civil war, from March the 18th to the last week, 2 months later, that was called the Bloody Week, and that was from 21 to 28 of May. So short and so deep in our memories, I will explain why. So here you see the people in Paris that were in revolution, and I shall explain why. So we take the sky above Paris on the 18th of March, 1861, and we see some constellations that may have a role in our role play. The one is Taurus. Taurus for us will be a bull, which be as Bismarck, which encircles Paris. This is we say Prusse chief, that is now German chief, we should say, that was in war against Jupiter, that is as Napoleon III, our emperor in Paris. Then you have the Hydra female, that was the French government gone to Versailles. When Napoleon III was in war, he was very bad, and then the French shoot him off and asked for a republic government. But the republic government was in fact very conservative and not very different from the emperor. So for the role play, we choose Hydra female. We did it in several schools, so some of them have chosen others. I just present the ones that are were the most popular. Then who are the Parisians that were in this short revolution? We shall take two examples because they were ordinary people like those that you find today in Paris. The unicorn as Louise Michel, that was a teacher, and Orion as Courbet, that was an artist who preserved all the artistic heritage of Paris. And down, you see the dove that failed to keep the peace. So how to explain Commune story with these roads? On 1st of July, Napoleon III and Bismarck declare war to one another. On September the 4th, Napoleon was defeated. France proclaims, as I said, a very conservative republic. At the beginning of 1871, the French government took refuge in Versailles. Sophie Meilidra took refuge in Versailles. And on March 18, the people of Paris, all the other constellations, of course, rebel and rise up against the Versailles, that is the conservative government from Versailles. It was the beginning of what was called the Paris Commune. This is a very rich subject because there were many artists, many intellectual people, and many very ordinary people mixed in the same refuse to be defeated. So the two figures we choose is the artist called Gustave Courbet. He was Orion in our role game. It's an iconic artist of that time. And just catch an eye that the papers in which he is drawn is Eclipse, called Eclipse. Because Eclipse was these people in Paris were interested in everything, especially also in astronomy. But Courbet was very much involved in this way of thinking. And the second, Louise Michel, is a teacher, the unicorn in our role game. So 2 months after that, of course, the people of Paris, they were not warriors. They were ordinary people. On the other side, the Conservative Republic has an army, and Bismarck helped them. So, of course, after 2 months of hope, of many, very interesting relations, connections between all the Parisians, they were crushed, dramatically crushed, because many of them were killed. The protagonists were the dragon, that is the army of the French government, and little deeper is the people of Paris. So each class could tell the story, look for news in history books, and try to explain how the dragon crushed the little beeper. Then on last day of the Commune, 147 federates, that is the fighters of Paris Commune, were shot in front of a part of the surrounding wall around Paris, and especially around a cemetery called Père Lachaise Cemetery. And it was so deep in memory that this wall can be seen yet in Paris, and many people visiting. So the dragon defeated the little deeper, and all the other constellations can be told the way the children tried to do it. Here is a painting made by Courbet. He had made it before the war, but because he was anxious about the war coming, and he painted himself and says, with that laughing mask, you know me, I hide inside the sorrow, the bitterness, and the sadness that clings to the heart like a vampire. He was deeply involved in the difficulties of people, of ordinary people in Paris. And then he kept this painting in his bedroom till the end of his life. He didn't live longer, only 6 years after the Commune, because he was very, very sad of the Commune. And then about Louise Michel, she was a teacher. The conservative government thought that only men had to be sent away. They were sent in New Caledonia. That was a very kind of, on the other side of the earth, jail. But Louise Michel refused to go in a French jail. She wanted to go to New Caledonia also and spent 7 years there. And here we can have a view of the sky over Nouméa, that is the main city in New Caledonia. New Caledonia is still French, maybe not for long. That is why it was interesting, because part of the people want to be independent, part not, and there will be a vote in a few months again. So this is the opportunity to see the sky on our point of view. But Louise Michel, that was interesting. She had, during the 2 months of the French Revolution, she had created schools for girls, for people who couldn't read, to teach reading and so in Paris. And when she arrived in New Caledonia, she said she did the same for the people coming from France, and also for the Caledonian Aborigine, for the Kanaks. And this was the first time that someone was interested in Kanak people. She has written books and books about their culture, about their way of talking about the sun, stars, moon, and the sky in general. And so here is a picture of a movie, a French movie that has been in July 2008 in New Caledonia with a French actress as Louise Michel, and showing what everybody says about Louise Michel. She was living with Kanaks on several islands and taught them how to read and get from them many stories of their culture, of the way they told the origin of the equivalent of our actual Big Bang, but in a cultural Aboriginal way. And then here is a short example of all the names she collected, showing that the people that came to New Caledonia came from various parts of the neighborhood islands or neighbor continents, from Asia mainly, but not from the same part of language. This was like a linguistic and cultural study that she made, and she wrote books. When she came back to France, she published these books. We can read them. And what is interesting also is that when she came back to France, all the conservative governments were very much afraid of her. They were obliged to let her come to France because they preferred that she taught to French poor people than to Kanak people. That is the only reason why they obliged her to come back to France. And then what is necessary to have a kind of picture of this event I shortly told about is that children choose, each school choose a different one. But we looked at nebula, and each school after that chose a nebula that was a symbol for them to the Paris Commune. In this one is Seagull Nebula, a cradle of stars in unicorn constellations near Sirius star, and they used dust of star pencils to color the seagull. This was a symbol of Paris Commune for them. And which is interesting, that is on each side of the riverside, you have still the memory of Commune. On one side, you have Sacré-Cœur. Those who know France know Sacré-Cœur. What is Sacré-Cœur? The Conservative Republic wanted to destroy the main hill of the Commune resistance. So they built a church exactly at the place where the Commune had been the stronger. So if you read it just like a monument in Paris, you can read it also as a memory of the fear of the conservative government and the life of the Commune. On the other side, exactly on the other side of the River Seine, not so famous for tourists, but very interesting, there is a pub called the cherry season. The cherry season, it's a bird, you have Montmartre on one side, the other side is said Butte-aux-Cales, and it was a part where the memory of Commune is still alive. So why this name of cherries and memory of cherries? It's because one of the people that had fought inside these 2 months of Commune, we call a communard, is Jean-Baptiste Clément, who has written this song a few days before the beginning of the Commune, and this song has become a memory of, for many people in France. It's a memory of the Paris Commune. For example, when our parents died, each time we sing this song at the cemetery, because it's a memory of the families that have been involved. All the communards that were not prisoners had fought in every part of France, and so we are many people that have still this memory very deep in several areas, especially in the southwest of France. And so this astronomical role play allowed us to tell a story in the manner of the people of antiquity. You take the sky as a witness and you tell the story through the sky. And then as a conclusion, because we had a sad time without meeting one another, I promised to Carl Pennypacker that I will sing to you a short part of this song. So I will sing it first in French, of course, and just then in English. J'aimerais
only have 3 minutes.
C'est de ce temps-là que je garde au cœur une plaie ouverte. Dame fortune en m'étant offert, jamais ne saura calmer ma douleur. J'aimerais toujours le temps des cerises et le souvenir que je garde au cœur. I will always love the cherry season. It is from that time that I keep in her a sound when open one, and Lady Fortune, quite offered to me, will never succeed to calm my own pain. I will always love the cherry season and the memory that I keep in mind. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you,
Hello,
Suzanne.
Carl. Hello, everybody.
Good, great talk.
Thank you, Michel.
Thank you.
Thank you for this nice, art and history and astronomy. So you're always amazing, actually, bringing all these things and connecting things to astronomy. But there were a comment actually in the is this astrology? How would you reply to this?
Yeah, I think with the suburbs, especially around Paris, it was very interesting to look at the sky, tell a story, understand what we can say ancient people had imagined the story of our universe compared to the scientific story from today, and then to history, because if you want to have democratic life, and people who are coming, you see, France is the end of a continent. And so we have people coming from the north, from the east, from the south. And if we want to live all together, we need to have strong foundations for all of them. And I think that the Commune is a very good example, not the only one we used, but we have a way of teaching history and astronomy together since several years.
Thank you again, Suzanne. It's time to move to the next talk, and our next speaker is Rebecca Williams. Rebecca, are you there?
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Hello, Rebecca.
Hello, everyone.
So Rebecca will be talking about our space, our future. So Rebecca, you have 15 minutes plus 5 minutes question and answer. Please, Suzanne, can you stop
Bye,
sharing?
bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Suzanne. Great to see you.
Stop sharing and
Good, docteur. Alors, tu coupes le son.
can you stop sharing, Suzanne?